Hey everybody, this is Joe. I'm here in Houston and it is almost the end of February and there is not a whole lot that's blooming out here, but things are coming to life. Of course, the pansies, and these are my little seedlings. This is aquatic milkweed. And some of these I planted that though they came up in the fall and they're real spindly, but they're alive. But I also replanted and put more seeds in where nothing came up. And so I've got lots of little bitty new guys in here as well. And that's kind of the only thing I'm doing from seed this year is aquatic milkweed, because it's the easy one. I threw a lot of seeds out into the garden, but those are the only ones I'm doing in a little plugs. And you can see I'm ready. I've got my Eastern Black Swallowtail nursery all ready. I've got all of this wonderful fennel, and then I also have some other things coming up. I think this is something called Minoan lace, which is kind of like Queen Anne's lace, but it only gets about a foot tall. And then in here, this is a volunteer. I swear, y'all, this is a carrot. It's gotta be. I did not plant this. Maybe it came from a seed. Maybe it's parsley, but it sure looks like a carrot. That was a volunteer. It would be crazy if that was a carrot that seeded from one of the carrots I had here last year, because I don't ever think of carrots as something that reseeds easily. And then this is what's completely bonkers. Look at this incredible purple coneflower, and it's just, I've got lots and lots of coneflowers that are looking really good and getting ready to bloom, have lots of good foliage. This guy, I literally put, you might have seen on another video, leaves all around it, and a brown paper bag that's kind of lined with silver, kind of like, I guess, DoorDash or somebody brought it to us, something in it, upside down on there, and it made it through a really hard freeze. And so that cracks me up. What didn't do well, I didn't drag this big pot in. This is Calancho, and you can see, even though I covered it very, not very well, obviously, it's alive, but it did not do well. This is very cold, tender. But the Calanchos that I did drag into the garage, look at this. Aren't they wonderful? And they're just, and these are this is an amazing plant. This is all just cuttings. All of this is just, I snapped a piece off and stuck it in the ground. And this has been handed down, for decades. This was my mom's. And so I highly recommend a Calancho. There are lots of colors. Here's another one I bought, a little miniature one. This little pink one's showing up here. This is a little bit shorter. So you can get a lot of different colors, little miniature ones. I love them. They make me happy. Now I have not cut things back yet. I'm really waiting. It was, we had a freeze just about 4 days ago. And so for a couple of nights in a row. And so I'm really leaving it. I want things, even though it was hot today, I want things to be able to wake up, all the creatures to be able to wake up and emerge before I start cutting things down. Here's the biggest bummer over here. I've got these yellow flag irises in the pond, and they had bloom stalks on them. And both of my bloom stalks just keeled right over in that freeze, so I'm super bummed. And all of my little daylilies have come up really beautifully, and they really shook off the freeze pretty well. I guess I covered these a little bit. I just covered that right there. Everything else I let go, and other than pots. I just covered this mostly because they were little seedlings, and I just wasn't sure how well a seedling from a fennel plant would do in a hard freeze, so I kind of covered them a little bit. But this wasn't covered, and you can see it's got lots of new growth. But I have left all of this. I'll pull this out in a week or so, because I know there are little creatures, they're probably overwintering in there. And then look, okay, here is one of the things that I do. That is just a weed right? And it's like a little clover. I can't remember the name of it. It's called wood something. Wood fern. It's not wood fern, but it's just a weed. But I let it grow in the spring because, and you'll see it everywhere in this garden in the spring, because it's the first thing that blooms, one of the very first things that blooms. I've already seen butterflies on it and bees on it, and nothing else you can see, nothing else is out here blooming. And so I let those go, and then once everything flushes out and looks beautiful in the garden, I wait for a really heavy rain, and then after it's rain, I can just pull them up, and the whole little corm or whatever it is comes up as well. So they're very easy to pull up, but wait until it has rained really hard, and then you can pop them out. You can see my roses are really beautifully leafing out. This thing looked kind of pitiful all summer, all winter, as far as not having leaves on it. But I can see it's already got a little bud. And then what's crazy, well, before I get there, here's my succulent theater that I just dragged in and out into the garage. But everything did really well. And my little aloe vera is getting ready to bloom. It's got 3 nice little bloom spikes. And I do sprinkle in the fall, I sprinkle pansy and viola, I guess it's just viola seeds into these pots, so that early spring, late winter, I have little flowers here and there, and they reseed really easily. See, that's just in the ground, this is in the gravel, and they just reseed really well. I've got lots of bluebonnets, not nearly as many as last year. I'm not sure why, but I also don't know why, and maybe y'all will know why they've bleached out. Look how speckly is this spider mite. But then here, look, they're even weirder. And what they ought to look like, is like that. Big and green. And these are just spindly. I don't know what's going on. So it won't be like last year. It won't be as spectacular as last year. And I've got some, and I've left them out in the gravel here. And then I've got this lance leaf coreopsis that's all ready. And I didn't cover this in the freeze. It was fine just last week. We had a hard freeze here. Yeah, we had a hard freeze. And it's fine. Now this is the thing that's going on. As I feel like this rose has finally recovered from the drought a couple of years ago. And my poor care of this, I didn't water it when I should have, but it has leafed out incredibly. I don't know if you can tell, I'm sort of doing this in the evenings. There's a lot of sun, but look how many leaves. And I'm getting ready to have another flush of flowers. There's a couple already coming up. Oh, and I'll show you, I just sort of dug around, and here, this is just weeds I let grow, sort of native plants, whatever shows up, but I leave it because look, tiny, tiny little flowers. So I'll pull this up later. But early spring, I want there to be something out here that has nectar for creatures. And then here, more just little violas that have just self-sown last year, dropped some seeds. The rose here, this is Martha Gonzalez, looking pretty. And then these are just little wild geraniums, and they can kind of take over. I pull them out pretty soon after things bloom, but this is another one that I let it go as a weed early spring, so that the creatures will have something with nectar on it. I think they're really pretty, but boy, that'll take over. They're easy to pull up though. This still looks like winter, but my coral honeysuckle is already blooming. Look at that. Isn't that fun? And this is just my second year with this coral honeysuckle, and it looks like, it's leafing out and looking pretty, but, maybe y'all can advise me. Should I have trimmed this in the fall, or should I trim it now? I kind of feel silly trimming it now. Oh, look, you can see up close. I feel silly trimming it now because it's looking so pretty, but y'all can maybe give me your advice on what's the kind of care? Should I just leave it and it'll be really beautiful and green, or should I really trimmed it to get this old growth off? So let me know your thoughts on that. This is the arrowwood viburnum, which is deciduous, and so it's still in the process. I still have some leaves on there, but that'll leaf out really beautifully in a couple of weeks. These roses are looking really, really pretty already. This is one of the earliest ones, Souvenir de Sainte Anne. But look at all this beautiful pale green growth. These roses are looking so good. 290 pink buttons, lots of little bitty buds on it. Here is, which one is this? Souvenir de la Malmaison, which I love, and it looks really pretty. It's a little speckly. I'm wondering, I haven't checked for thrips, but the fact that it's sort of wrinkly makes me think I better start checking now for thrips. And then all of this green down in here, all of this matte, that is Peter's Purple Monarda. And it will be gorgeous and bloom. It'll be 4.5 feet tall, bloom, then look terrible, but it's worth it. And so, I'm so excited about that. And then this, I love this plant. This is Verbena bonariensis, and I've never had luck with it, but I had a couple, this one and there, that made it through the winter. I never think of it as a cold hardy plant, but what do I know? But I see it's got some sort of, I don't know, mildew, or is that just freeze damage? I'm not sure, but I'll trim that down. But look how fun that is. This is my first, what feels like a success story with this plant, and there's another one there, and it does flop over. So I put this little obelisk on top of it, so I'm hoping it will maybe hold it up and let it be upright. And there's some of my carrots down there looking all happy. Oh, there's the Butterman. Hey, Butters. Say hello to all your fans. Oh, typical. It's like, I will look away from you. Say hello to your fans. What a good boy. He's a good boy today. Still looks like winter over here. I haven't cut, I'm holding off, cutting things back. And then, we had a freeze a couple of weeks ago, and then it got super warm. All these things came out, and then it froze again. And so it froze down all my new growth. So I'm just looking away, pretending it's not there. And then here is another, look how great this rose is. This is, I can't think of the name of this right now, but I can see again, I bet these do have thrips. And I'm gonna have to be really careful, because you can see how they're just not opening right. That's not good. That's not good at all. Still lots of just winter. I love the grasses in the winter. I really do. I think that's fun. I don't mind leaving that up. This is a mess, and I do mind leaving it up, but I'm doing it anyway. But I want to cut this back so bad, y'all. I bought some I've forgotten about these. It's always fun when you've put little bulbs in. I think these are snow bells. Snow bells? Yeah. And they do really well in Houston. And they come back year after year. And so I finally went and bought myself some more. Here's some of my little carrots. They're still looking good. And then this is a Gulf vervain. That is a native Texas plant. And there's another one there and another one there. And then one of my little weeds over there. And this, I think, looks, it is a verbena. And so I kind of feel like it looks, stands in as a native Texas version of the Verbena bonariensis. So we'll see how it looks this year, and maybe having it under this little bird cage will help it stand up. And then here I've got some things. I think that's Amy that has self-sown. And I feel like, is this parsley. I don't know what that is, y'all. But you know, I don't know if you're the same way. Like, well, I don't know what it is. Let it ride, and we'll find out. And sometimes it's a big fat weed, and sometimes it looks great. And then, oh look, you can come back here with me. And this is, you know, I threw some leaves out here in the fall, in the winter to protect some things. And then here are some of my carrots. Now, I didn't protect some carrots, and I did protect others. I think these are the only ones for that big freeze a month ago that you can see I put leaves around it. Kind of forgotten it back here. Put leaves around it. And it looks great. They look great. But also, the ones that I didn't protect look the same. So I think my experiment can tell you definitively you don't need to cover those carrots. If you put them in the fall or even in December, they'll be fine during a hard freeze. They're happy in the winter. And then, sorry, I've gotten myself entangled, enmeshed in this thorny rose bush. And then, isn't this interesting? Okay, so Gomphrena, this is just left Gomphrena from last year in this pot. But look, it's coming out. But look at this, like huge root on it. That's fascinating. But that's Gomphrena also. So, and I left it, this was unprotected. You can see there aren't any leaves in here. It's completely unprotected in the cold, and it was fine. And then yet another, I'm finding oak trees everywhere. Oak tree, oak tree, oak tree. They're oak tree. They're everywhere. Well, this is the thing that I did protect. This is a penta, and you can see I've just started pulling some of these leaves out. I should have pulled them out a long time ago, but I didn't, just to protect the roots down here, because this is really a tender perennial. But you can see there's a little bit, the live right there. And then here's another thing that doesn't need protecting. This is bog sage, Salvia uliginosa. So if you can find it, it wanders. I really planted it over there, and it's just wandered its way over the years over here. Beautiful blue flower, full shade salvia. And it can take all kinds of weather, and I can trim it back. I haven't done anything to this, and I did not protect it in the cold, and it looks great. Unfortunately, I allowed it to swamp most of my Gulf Coast penstemon. This is one that has survived, and I have some seeds I'm going to try later on. But I allowed this to kind of swamp it, and it killed a lot of it, I'm afraid. Not much going on. You can see all of this. I'm dying to cut down, but I'm just holding off. But the pots look really pretty. Now, I put up a tiny little short the other day about this particular ivy geranium, which I don't know why its buds had all fallen off. And the plant is gorgeous. But I've got all new buds, and we'll see what happens to those. I cross my fingers that they will come up. But I couldn't figure out, and some of you guys gave me some advice about, just thoughts about what might have made those all fall off, turn brown. And so I'm still kind of thinking about what those things might be. Here's just a regular, that's an ivy geranium I can keep alive all year. This is a regular fuzzy-leafed, that's the technical term, geranium. I bought a couple of months ago. It looks really pretty. As soon as it gets hot, I'll kill it. I cannot keep those alive when it gets hot outside. And then here, okay. If you have daughters, and I say the words, tale as old as time, I assume that you can hear The Little Mermaid. No, it's not The Little Mermaid. It's Beauty and the Beast. You can hear Angela Lansbury sing the words, tale as old as time. If you put little flowers in a little pot, and I put 4 or 5 things of violas in a little pot, and you don't pay attention, and you don't water it all the time, it doesn't do well, friends. And so this is what you get. So learn from me and Angela Lansbury. It's a tale as old as time, a gardener who puts a plant in a small pot and then doesn't water it in a timely manner. So, now you know There's a lot of neglect in this garden. Look how good all of this pipeline looks. I'm really pleased. I didn't cover it the first really hard freeze a month ago. I did put leaves in it. It's so hardy, I think, and so evergreen that I didn't even cover it this last week. I just let it go, and it got plenty cold. More kalanchos. I can't pass up a kalancho in the store. Here is, look at this, y'all. That is an ivy geranium. If you follow my channel, you probably saw me say in the fall that I was going to start fertilizing this. And I did. And look at that. I mean, incredible. I'm so happy. It's dusty pale, almost lavender pink with the little insides. Oh, that makes me so happy. Anyway, I'm so happy about that. I have taken to trimming back things like these begonias. They were just leggy and silly looking. And then, oh look, tale as old as time. That was prettier when I put it in that tiny pot. It's not pretty now. I've gone ahead and cut everything back. I could have been much more brutal and cut everything way down, except I'm such a wimp when it comes to trimming things back. And so I basically cut everything down to the very bottom flat leaf. And well, I should have cut that one down to that little leaf right there. But that was just me trying to give myself a little bit of greenery. Pots are looking kind of pretty. You know, all gardeners, pansies get us through the last mile of the race to spring. And look at this little guy. He came back really pretty. Such a nice ivy geranium there. And then this one is too, and it's looking great. And I did fertilize this, but I'm really happy about this little bunch that came up in the middle, and hopefully that'll fill the pot out. This one I was brutal. It was so tall. It was basically stalks that were another 10 inches high with just one flower hanging off the end, and so I just was brutal about it. This little friend, I did water. I had it somewhere else and it got water, and it's happy. And there's Fred, the lion. Well, thanks for looking at my crusty garden. And oh, there's Miss Doubtfire way back there. Hello, Mrs. She says I'm hiding from the boy. You see her back there. I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for looking. Thanks for all of your sweet comments. I'm way behind on comments. I will reply to you guys. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.